welcome to what may be quite a surprise. Once again, we're delving back into some movies. Now, this may not be one that I've ever heard of before, but thanks to some various generous patrons, I'm now getting to see it. Now, all I've done is some very cursory research when trying to find a way to actually watch it, and so I know it's somewhat fantasy, somewhat drama related, but all in all, probably quite decent. And if there's some of you out there who have just clicked on this not really knowing what it is, I hope you're in for a good time. If you've seen this movie before, well, I hope you're happy. If you're joining onto the channel for the first time, please know that links for full uncensored versions down in the description. If you go over and use that, just keep YouTube in the background, mute it if you want, just to pretend it's not there. Really helps out my channel. But with that said, let's get in and watch Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. It's been quite a long time since I last sat down to watch a movie, and I hope I have the attention span left after so long of flicking through various YouTube videos and not being able to settle down and watch anything. But also, usually when I sit down to a movie, I at least know like Ghibli stuff. Well, it's Ghibli, yeah, I know that. Is this a loom? Yeah. Whereas this one, I actually have no inclination as to what studios behind it or anything like that. But if it's starting off with a loom, some fabric making, some time itself is a fabric. I mean, history can be... Or is this actually like Sisters of Fate kind of thing, where it's ordaining the future, weaving it into history itself? Don't go running with that, it took so long to actually make. Let's hope that was fairly deep. So right away you've got a few character personalities being shot out. Maquia, who is rather shy, understanding. There's just that one who kind of play by the rules, and then Lelia, who lives as she wants, apparently. Okay. Well, it seems some of them have been skirting their duties. Well, shirking their duties. But a rather homogenous group, but also calm, sweet, just village life. This clan seems to be not having things too rough, just spending their time weaving all the cloth. Oh, there's a fray there. But now, are they going to be faced off against something that is going to put the entire clan at risk? I'm here, aren't I? But considering that she's got this Lilia who is reaching out, trying to be friends, she's not truly alone. Is it because she doesn't have a family as such? Ah. So they are immortals, for lack of a better word. Like the essence of elves, just without the drawings of the forest or the years. What has caused the downfall of all of these beings, though? Is there some evil empire of humans? Ibiol. Though your mortal flesh may fade away, your effects upon the world remain in the cloth. It's one way to look at it, I guess. Seems like a cult. So, if that's the case, why does the other one have a mother? How do things play out for them? Is it just hierarchical? So even in their home life and time off, still weaving away. I immediately thought, oh, we got Lelia running around doing things again, but no. This is more like a secret rendezvous. The one who's meant to be keeping of the law and order. Where's he off to? But I will say, design-wise, the fact that this place looks like a bastion of white stone and moss. She dreams she could have a life like that. Something that she's missing out on. Hopefully just beings in the sky rather than gargoyles or anything. Dragons. Dragon knights. They don't really have much, so I'm not sure what would be worth invading them for, unless the cloth itself is mystical. No use of the pathways, just straight through the middle. Hopefully they're not they're not staining the material and cloth, but the Elder's still out there somewhere. Still, seeing the scale of those things next to the ones who ride them. I do like how it's pilot, co-pilot type deal. They need more than one to ride it. And strong knees to disembark. Are they coming with a peace treaty? A letter? You didn't have to come dead at night. At least showing a monster. At least showing the bare minimum of decorum. Greeting and bowing. Also, having a couple of good voice actors in this. Great. So, calming, peaceful life already coming to an end within the first 10 minutes. They can't control their own beasts. He wants to return back to nature. I was going to say, is she going to be the only one left after being kept inside the tower? Oh, she got what she wanted. She's out. Taken away from the dangers of what was going on in the village. Well, there's your sense of adventure. Just try not to let go. That's nice. I like having the rolling clouds in the mist. Let's hope the cloth is resistant. If you had to crash into some trees at high velocity, pine trees and whatnot be the most absorbent, the least damaging to you? But whisked away from her home, a world that she doesn't know, is it going to be a tale of trying to reunite with everyone, or who might be left? And their proud heritage of the cloth now smouldering in a forest. But with a completely different connotation now. Because there wasn't any extended cries, at first I thought it was a bird. Yeah. She can't go anywhere without stumbling upon disaster. He knows? He seems rather unperturbed by what he's seeing. Is this normal in this world? Wow. He just... But she's going, what, try and take him in? Being one that's also been ripped away from family. Be a rather dour view of the entire world, this merchant alcoholic. But if it was bandits attacking this place... Oh, wow, you got the rigor mortis setting. Not wanting to... I would say not wanting to let go of her child, but also not able to. But if it was, yeah, bandits that did it all, why would they leave the sword behind? Unless they found just better weaponry while invading. Huh. Oh, how lives are intertwined. Using the precious cloth of her people. But to think the threads of time in our lives, both in a metaphorical sense and literal. But how life was so quaint and yet dangerous back in a time like this, where you can have roaming. I don't think that's... I mean, yeah, close enough. That is a very tame goat, though. Just allowing it to be beat like that. In a sense. More like a guardian, to be fair. Don't know a name, how old, or anything other than now an orphan. Snapped from the embrace of death. The fact that she's used to that kind of teasing, but also trying to... And naming is difficult. Trying to come up with something that still has some attachment to her, to one she knew. trying to obtain a place to live and a job. Are they... Well, exactly, the headpiece wasn't hiding a lot, but also, are they discriminated against here? I see. More as a business opportunity than anything else. So, you know, an extra mouth to feed is, or two, is always going to be a strain, but there's a secret sauce in that cheese. I wonder if she's going to start not only pulling her weight and helping out for the gratitude that she's wanting to repay. Hmm. Seems like there's so much in this world where shared experiences in one way or another, even if it's not for the best. Slightly, the montage type aspect of her trying to help out and get on with this kind of life, but also seeing the daily struggles of what they had to go through. They would have a very dairy heavy diet if they're cheese farmers, to be fair. Even if it is just a small family run thing. But if you were... It's actually going through the time quite quickly. Sure, babies grow fast, but if he was only a couple of months old when found, now it's been... Six months down the line to a year kind of thing. And she's trying her best, and so far, well, the baby looks quite healthy. Got a lot of help around her. Weaving more threads into the tapestry of their lives. Whoa, that was some... I get it, actually having a baby record it, but the sound quality... Try it one more time. Unless it was actual recording of one of the director's kid's first words, in which case that would mean quite a lot. That's me just clutching at straws. But also having what I assume to be Sugata as one of the main forces of man and the knights. I can get behind that. So, Aha. Some of them kept into slavery, some sold off, some being used as a status symbol. Is it because it knows what would happen if it tried? Also, is there going to be layers to it where he wants to fight out against how things are run here, but he's just a knight just carrying out duties? Oh. Trying to pass on a few aspects, teach how to teach others on how to use the loom. You would have thought that using a pen and paper, a bit of parchment would be easier than looming. Yeah, just ignore the questions being asked. If they're too difficult, respond with tickles. He's old. I can see where this is going to go, and I don't like it. But, it's a part of life, something that this is vehemently going to tell, considering how it's going so far. He is quite a mother's boy, isn't he? Yeah, unlike them who have never had a parent's love. What? I don't think that went quite as planned, did it? Hard-headed. How much does she earn for this one? A salary rather than per garment. Is this someone that she knew, or is it just a highly... Right. Sending message through the cloth itself, like we were told earlier. Is there going to be many that can actually read that cloth, is what I was thinking, until I got drawn into my own thoughts. But even if she can go and see her old friend... Oh. Then... Is this going to be a child's wonder? You can't protect them forever from the nature of life. Well, that's the point. Just come and visit him, yeah. nowadays, when we do kind of protect children from the ideas like this and natures of life too much, where they don't understand death is leading to some problems, not mentioning any names. That's a good question. But considering everything that she has been through, knowing that she will outlive pretty much all of them. That kind of existential question. Something I've not really thought about much in other things with elves and the like, but not that they're an elf, but you get what I'm talking about. You have to be strong in the face of everything. Yeah. Parents' duty to look after their children and do well by them. You're allowed to show your emotion once in a while, though. Up and waiting until she returned. Almost up and waiting. At least the spirit was willing. I think if we're going to get a age progression time-based thing showing the stage of his life throughout all of this, she was too late. Are we going to get this Gita have a bit of a reunion later on down the years? Because I think having that, are they stowaways? So why they shouldn't be running around? Chance encounters. No, you can't hug this strange man. We've just met. Ah. The gift of immortality to extend the one's lifetime, attacking those around you for it. Yeah, it's a tale of oldest time. I've seen rulers throughout the years do some similar stuff. But at least catching up, even if only briefly, knowing that there were others still alive and still acting with some autonomy. She had they had the right idea of dyeing her hair, trying to get her to live a relatively normal life amongst them all. They are planning some guerrilla warfare type stuff. There's going to be some danger, at least. Being upended for no real reason. Not the fact that he wanted to go back to what he called home before, but they just don't have that much time together anymore. The gravity of the situation. Oh, nice. Kind of like, well, I guess it is fireworks, but not getting the full effect during the middle of the day. And those, I recall, knights are lauded as these grand, knights protecting the city and their nation, happily ignoring the fact that they're going out and conquering small villages. Ignorance is bliss to the masses. At least, compared to a lot of others, she might be treated relatively well in this kind of life. You'd hope. I like the chanting, though. So the prince, for the good of the nation, is being paraded around for this marriage. He seems quite uncomfortable on the... forcing it to go rogue. Oh, he's dead. He's just going to hide back into the crowd and not go... Ah, there we go. And not get noticed, is what I was going to say. But with a crowded bridge like this and loads of bystanders and commoners, actually seeing them be animated quite well, I like it. Some standing frozen in fear, some trying to escape. Good distraction routine. Run in. Is she not going to be too happy about them interfering with the proceedings? Yeah, Krim, that was his name. Is it because she'll be hunted down no matter what, or is there more at stake here that they don't know? Oh. So that's... I mean, how are they going to try and pass it? Oh. Stop them by use of the the drapery and the likes. She will end things herself. The fact that she can use that as a bargaining chip. Holding some sense of victory over herself. The world has treated him well. He hasn't really changed too much. So he's been for the safety of everyone, need to stay. Well, he seems to have made quite a living, though. Even if he does have to hide himself. So, like the hero we need, he appears out of nowhere and vanishes just as quick. Does he know? Was he going to lay some blame about not being able to? She's trying her best, looking after those that mean a lot to her. Does it mean, though, that later on she's going to do the motherly thing and sacrifice herself for her child? I mean, she's well aware of that and had a breakdown because of it before. Granted, he's hurt and annoyed, but until that time comes, she'll do her damnedest to protect what matters. I do like this is a story of parental love and families mixed in with just the smallest amount of medieval butchery. I mean, she did quite well and escorted her out of there until she forced her to leave her behind. They'll be not seeing them for a while. Did she just sidestep to get out of the way of the guy and the ass? The ass. If so, not needed bit of detail and animation, but I like it. Yeah, not everyone is going to be quite as... don't kick this... Not everyone is going to be quite as nice as the last guy. I mean, we can't have any more medical bills added to the list. Or assault charges. Um. So, jumping to a conclusion, sure, but then again, she did say my child, so it's kind of fair for her to think that, and considering she's had problems hiring in the past, or keeping hires. At least having someone to welcome you back home after a tough day. He's tried to help. I think everyone has experienced that this time at least once. When the weight of the world reaches the breaking point, snap at those that you love for no reason. He tried. Yeah, no one tells you how tough parenting's actually going to be. I mean, everyone leans on those around them. No one does everything truly alone. But also, what kind of life has the elder went through? You're actually going to read it now. Yeah, what kind of life has the elder gone through to give those kind of words? To, don't fall in love. It's not worth it. Everyone leaves you in the end. Now, there's two things he could have done. Either just run away, be a child because, upset she was not acting like a child, or trying to go and find some money. He melted. He's part lizard. Victory. The fact he's unfazed throughout all of this, just the briefest moment of sadness in his eyes, but still trying his best to make everyone happy, especially his mother. Tears of joy. She's learned well, taking on the mannerisms of those that helped her. Now they need to get back inside before they get a cold. But the idea of this scene being so heartfelt and sweet in the pouring rain as well. Directly cut into manufacturing of weapons of war and heavy industry. quite a different atmosphere to the village of cloth and trade. Well, looks like she actually managed to find a job at least. Hopefully. Is he meant to be attending a place like this? He's reached that kind of age. So going from one scene where they're trying to do their best for each other, he'll grow up and protect her. Life is never quite so easy. What's with the heavy armor? A hurdy-gurdy. Everyone getting in the mood, the swing of things. Enjoy your time here. And I do like how everyone is covered in a fine layer of what I'm guessing like soot and ash. Please read what is on the menu. It's been so long. The menu. The fact he's come on and grown up and become part of the guard. Such a small world. But also seeing not only the passage of time of them, but the civilization itself. It good. I'm glad he didn't bring any bad news about those. Yeah, timekeeping was probably a little bit difficult when they didn't have clocks or watches. How do you know when your night shift starts? Yeah, because once people start questioning, hang on a sec, the years have been quite kind to you. Oh. Yeah, I think that's even if they were related by blood, he'd still want his own bed. Mm-hmm. Something to do with them not being blood related. Was there a outbreak? Seeing, there's an empty one there as well. Has to. So you've got all the normal traits. So they're thinking of ways to get rid of her. That voice acting. I mean, sure, he's in a tight spot, but Jesus. Let her out of this gilded prison. Yeah, what a life she is leading. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the same way out like the Renata do. As long as they're not outright just killed off, at least you'll outlive the kingdom. Even if he was under orders. Oh. There was another attempt to get her. It might be a bit above his station to ask for that. Considering the kingdom itself, don't see any worth in her. Not only the pain in the voice acting, but animation of her face being so outside of what we saw with the Lord before. I can see a certain kingdom potentially falling before the end of this. Considering he's much taller now. The small wiggle of the banister. But also having someone in the guards to pass on for some critical information. Especially if there's someone looking for them. Just keep drinking. There's nothing to complain about once more alcohol's come along. I see. It's not a hazing ritual, but becoming one of them. Although, is that the life you want to lead? I do remember my days of going down the pub. They won't be content until he's throwing up all over the floor. Maybe not even then. So he'll leave the service, go back to being a simple farming life. He wants her back. It's quite a tough ask, to be fair. The risk of what might happen. Also, they'd question why a guard suddenly dropped his duties and wanted to leave. If he's even allowed in the first place. Without being reprimanded. Snow or ash? You could spend an entire lifetime searching for an answer and never get it. If anyone ever thinks themselves as the perfect parent, you know that you're in front of a liar. There's a little more that everyone can learn. But the thought of keeping your heritage under wraps, moving from place to place, having an entire life somewhat hiding in plain sight. He's home. Is now that he's completely plastered and his inhibitions have melted away, is this the time when he's going to be asking some questions? Excuse me. He hasn't even called her mother in a while. You know, the usual pub chatter. But in his mind, where things are so complicated and abnormal. As long as he doesn't... I was going to say as long as he doesn't rip it, but... Please don't damage the... Hibio that means so much. You know, their happy family life... Oh, shit. Quick thinking. You smother the fire before it gets out of hand. I'm glad we didn't see some house fire which led into most of the city. was also kind of worried that the weaving that he did might have went up in smoke. Knowing that they'll once again be on the move, is he going to think of a way to not impose on her and escape, for lack of a better word? Despite the fact she's raised you and tried her best. We've all probably said something maybe in the heat of the moment or through a myriad of factors, but something like that is probably the worst way to hurt her. Is he about to put the fear of God into him for that? Throw him over the edge. And you spat over that hurt. Does she need a reason? Is it just a self-loathing kind of thing? He needs to be better. Usually there's overhearing and misunderstanding, but she came in at the right moment. Because they're constantly forced to move and live in such a way. Yeah, he hasn't changed much, has he? And as long as he gets a job being posted somewhere near him, he can teach them the ropes and be relatively safe. If he is now off on this new chapter of his life, is she going to let him know where she's going to move off to, considering she does have to find a new place to live? But to think having an entire life condensed into a movie like this, from almost birth to now leaving home. Any parent that's gone through this has probably experienced every element of heartbreak possible because of it. And yet, how can he protect her from what she's feeling now? At least they parted on good terms, but was it Krim? Was it the half merchant? Or some, assassins, but, on behalf of the king. All of the cloth is still there. Also, I haven't mentioned it, but as far as wind chimes go, that's pretty nice. It's not safe to have a real one. After the dangers of the last parade that we saw, you'd understand why, but also, really, one left? They're slowly losing all of their battle power. To burn your lice. So, does he know? Well, okay, does he know that she kind of just disappeared that day? So, now that he's older and able to maybe comprehend and express his emotions a little better. Well, she was quite young, even for a Lorf. Good for him, taking on the responsibilities and whatnot. I like this. Just a paper tiger. All image and no substance. It's not exactly the most furnished of prisons. I see. So by custom or... Huh. So are they going to try and use her as a double? I mean, they could have tried again, do something like her and live amongst normal people. Hopefully she won't be a scapegoat and hated among her kind because of it. But a symbolic severing of her past. That's more painful than what she had experienced back in the village. Oh, I see. So we don't get to see all of this, but somehow they reconnected, and it seems to be going quite well. And that's what he meant by father. Is he going to... understand a hell of a lot better now? Also, having a childhood friend bully turn into his significant other. Was she finally able to apologize? Did she have some flowers? Everyone's so unsure of themselves and their place in the world. Warning signal? Warning. Well, good thing they're up here, away from the direct battlefield. But now he's going to be called out to fight. It was only a matter of time, as they were mistreating their military might, as it were, as they were slowly dying off. Hopefully it won't be like Lido. Oh no. Not right now. Is she about to... is she about to give birth in the middle of an invasion? What is the best timings? It is good, though, that they are mostly attacking the citadel and castle rather than the surrounding city. It's odd. You're seeing the nation and wanting it to fall for what it's been doing through the years, but you're seeing the lives of its denizens and citizens. And is everyone around just putting up with him because he is the... For it. Considering the kingdom doesn't care for them, what about the attackers? Are they going to be a little more lenient? We saw one of them amongst them who should be. So I'm guessing this is partly their plan. Attack by land and sea. How are they... I was going to say, how are they expecting to attack a fortified position being those ruins on horseback? That poor horse. Either a very well-placed shot or just a stray shot that was very unlucky. And now back in traditional garb. What now? And he's a He's got to do his duty, rush into the battle, but after so many years. The torch. A ghost of the past, nothing more. Very realistic ghost. But she's already said before, nothing can go back to how it was. She can't. Yeah, he's not going to take kindly to that. Even so, it's the only thing that she had to cling on to. She was so alone for so long. Is he going to have a change of heart and thought about this? Find the daughter, then they can go away together. What? Just try and promise her that. Or if she's still okay, I guess. Not been disposed of by the nation. Oh. Yeah, you totally get it. I did wonder why he had the torch. No one else can possibly hurt her if they're both dead. Just in an attempt to protect her, driven to such extremes and depravity. I can't tell if him being shot there is a good thing or not. Might have missed a lot of immediate complication. Oh, that's a lot of blood, though. And yet his was frozen on the moment that the village was invaded. And the final scene next to the last imprisoned Renato dragon thing. What was the plan for her? Because in a moment like this, allowing her to just run around unguarded and everything is quite a poor battle plan. Ah. So just like before, in a moment of need, she stumbles across a mother and child. Absolutely not. Ah. This is a direct order. You. What, so he's willing to abandon the mother that he knew to protect his new home? It's a tough decision, to be fair, considering his new wife and child on the way. I mean, can't he protect both? She's been there for quite some time. Yeah. Is it because... Is it because he has told her about his mother, his upbringing, or did she just recognize him from many a year back? I see. The duality of intense battle, loss of life on a untold scale, with the also pain of childbirth. I don't know if this story is going to be one of a nice ending or not. Also, the overlaying of the screams and cries got some good audio work. Ah. And with the dawn, a new day rises, but what would be left? Also, I didn't expect, but now looking back, I guess might have, or should have, really. Complications during birth, especially times at a time like this is meant to be, medieval-esque world. Is Ariel going to come back, but Major Commander not? Also, the fact that he had that merchant appear, disappear, and then not really become a huge part of the story. He's just a small line in the tapestry of life here for this world.
I think, alongside the idea of just trying to understand parenting, having Maquia stay as like that almost childlike state, maybe more of a metaphor how no one is actually ready, of how much they try. All he has to do now, not get that wound infected, and then get back to see them. And openly saying it now. Probably a story has not been told to him. Maybe not tell her how you had to actually snap her fingers off in order to get him. Over the years, he's learned a thing or two, come to realise exactly what she's done. I don't think we respect or acknowledge the sacrifices and pain that those around us have gone through to help us throughout our lives. So for her own little selfish reasons, she looked after him. He wasn't around to hear her call him a liar, but he tried in his own way. Huh. So, this is a huge bit of, well, not growth, but revelation for them. She's come to accept that will always be a massive part of her life, and vice versa, no matter what they actually are to each other. He has a place to be. Are we going to also get back to the subplot with Lelia and her child? At least they reconnected on such a good point. There was some hesitation. The fall of the kingdom. A new dawn definitely is risen. Is the last the last beast also going to find its way out? It's kept living for so long, surviving through all of the pain that it's endured. Long departed. Will they be treated as political prisoners? Who? Such maybe a bit of misspeech, a slip of the tongue, but allowing it to be known. But also, yeah, going back to how we immediately met her, carefree and running around just to be do a flip. Just to be caged for so long. But seeing the abandoned child, knowing its station where it wasn't wanted at all, but yearned for her own mother so much. She just needed a little help. Really? Huh. Is no, I like that frayed thread. But granted, sure, she's now been given her freedom. The child, though, completely alone from here on. With the invading force, I'm sure, yeah, they'll be pleasant to her. Is such a maybe not even bittersweet end to that story. This I don't know how to even describe my feelings on it. But literally flying off into the sunset, leaving this world to the humans who remain. Most of the law are gone. The Eternals are not long for this world anymore. Just be careful of the armor. Sunshine? But she finally understands. And helped her out so much in a time of need. I would have thought that she would have apologized long before, but okay. Because he had her on his mind all the time. Somewhat smooth bastard with that line. Do well by your children so they can pass on your feelings throughout the years and history. Yeah, we didn't only see a changing of generations, but cities growing, nations falling. Every part of it. Going back to where it began. Lily. It's been some time. Ah. It's definitely been a while. But to see the life that they lead now, or the descendants lead now, oh god. Even though every part of this, ever since, you know, I think when she saw the remnants of what happened with the mother and the bandits, we knew where this story might inevitably go. Still don't think I was ready. And I don't think Maquia is ready either. He seemed to have lived a great life after everything. Being able to spend it with the one he loved and then extended family under it. There's life in the old dog yet. And with that, he was finally complete. Even if it was only brief. She still has it? Ah. The shawl he was wrapped in when she first found him. She had many a year to come to grips with everything. I had 1 hour 45. And see the childlike wonder and whatnot. It's funny how much they resemble resemble his family. Did we? Yeah, no, we definitely didn't see half of this. I like how it's going back to reminisce of him growing up, of scenes we never got to witness. The goods and the bads. I don't think any of us truly understand what it means or what we mean to one another. I just hope it doesn't take too long before we realize what matters. Just this once, I think it's okay. See, any story that has that kind of bond or whatever, it's gonna hit hard. But also, it's not just crying, that's a wail. It looks like the elder was wrong, though, after all. She may be alone in presence, but never fully. There you go. The tapestry of our lives interweaves with those around us and what we've left a mark on. Did she break that cycle? How can you say that with a jovial hint in his voice? But that is life. It is so much more to have those connections in that kind of life. Whether you have children or not, just try to interact with those around you rather than stay solitary, as much as I enjoy my alone time. It ending as it began with the loom. no matter how much twine is left in our own stories, I hope I make the most out of it and leave a lasting effect down the years. I say some dumb stuff and hurt the ones I love, but I'm pretty sure that they all know exactly how I feel, and hopefully vice versa. Life is hard. People don't do the right things. People don't know what they're doing. But it's the effort that we all put in that hopefully shines through. This was I was going to say odd one because there was story follow-throughs, but no real huge groundbreaking plot from Maquia. Sure, there was the fall of the city, but that was all in the nation, the kingdom. It was all outside of her control. Her story, what mattered to her, was her family. Isn't that what it should be? Did not expect this to hit me quite as hard as it did. Maybe I'm getting sentimental in my years. Maybe just my desire to show the ones I love exactly what they mean to me. But while we still can, we have the time to weave those extra passages on our own stories. It's never, well, as was shown in this, it's never truly over either. We can leave a lasting effect, not only on our family and friends, descendants, maybe even in your own small way, the history of the world itself, if you're lucky. But seeing each and every one of them be flawed in their own rights, apart from Lang, he was pretty solid all the way through. Yeah, so many people falling to despair and loneliness and lashing out. Things can easily go wrong. This was wonderful. But just the entire idea of this film, the fact of almost unconditional love of a parent to their children, well, the fact of love going through this most of the point, and loss, and accepting that the ravages of time may come to us all. As part of life, both the beauty and depths of it. it's much easier to tell that story when you've got some movable character, one that stays the same throughout, along with the viewer ourselves, such as Maquia, where the world is moving around her and we're seeing the effects of it all. I wouldn't say overall the message is anything particularly new, but the way it was packaged was really nice. And obviously, by my face, it was quite effective in its portrayal. It's not a movie that I think I would have ever watched if not for my patrons. So there's not much more I can say on that. You got what you wanted. You've added a line into my hibio, my life story. And that we all may feel contained, prisoned at times by our choices or circumstance. There is always a way out. Not in that sense. More in a either change your perspective or rely on the help of others. I mean, we're not a princess in a castle as far as I'm aware. As much as I wish I could be. But Krim being almost as bad as the kingdom that broke into their village in the first place and tore them all apart. Holding on to the life that he wanted and hurting everyone around him, trying to get it back, including the one that he loved. Going so far as to try and kill them both. Well, and stealing Maquia, locking her away in that rather small cell, I would say. Also, that very, very last scene, still image that we had before after the credits. I'm guessing since we have the Renato stand there in the village of the Lorth, they managed to somewhat reunite and rebuild, find those that were still alive and come back together. But there was one there that had a slightly different hair colour. I'm trying to think who that could be, who's helped them or has a part of it who would want to be there, and the only one I can think of would be the princess, Madame L. Though the mother didn't want to have anything to do with it, forget me completely, I don't think that would have been possible after everything that we've known and been told through the story, since the only thing that had ever actually potentially cared for her would have been her mother. Also, if we were shown like the years later on his would that have worked in time? Could have been any time throughout that, but still, yeah, that's what I think. It's Medemal. I'm terrible with names. If so, chasing off after her mother, abandoning everything that she had, not that she had much, to be fair, going and finding that village, having that story continue on even in just a still picture. I don't care if I'm wrong, that's what I'm sticking to, because it's a nice story in my head. And despite the fact we had kingdoms, treachery, political marriages, dragon offshoots, all of this it's still at its heart very down-to-earth story about a mother's love for their child, blood-related or not. It's not ever really going to be a message or a story that's not going to have its place, to be fully fair. Unless we all become as a species so jaded, by that point, let us all die out. I would have liked some repercussions for the royal family, but also the fact that they, apart from being the main culprits of a lot of the proceedings, had little impact. We don't actually care about them enough to show anything that happens. It's both unsatisfactory and completely understandable, and I like it. I can't connect that in my mind. And although they had both parents there, I wonder if Ariel had the same troubles with raising his daughter as Maquia did with him. Thinking of all the time that I've wasted when I could have been doing quite a lot more is painful, but also, if I didn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. So no matter where our story leads us, try and make the most of it. Make a beautiful tapestry of the cloth that we have left. And see what we can do with it. And I like a very subtle-ish part of even the small nicks and tears along our life can lead to truly wonderful things. So if you've enjoyed this, if you bawled your eyes out where I barely kept mine together, let me know. Leave a like and a comment on the video to show your appreciation. If you've reached this far, maybe subscribe to the channel if you want to see what's coming up next. But truly, take care of yourselves. Because I think I need to see you in the next one.